Welcome to our new normal. I'm not sure if you got to see the thumbnail, but that is what today's conversation is going to be about. The people who have been holding in and suppressing how they truly feel about our community are out in full force. And it's only going to get more intense as they are enabled, as these laws start to go away, these um, restrictions on things you can do and things you can say, as they start to go away. Listen, we need to plan, we need to prepare, we need to not sit around waiting for the worst to happen without having a plan of action. So, and even looking at that video, I noticed that if that was any other ethnicity, it would have been labeled as a hate crime, period, point blank. Unfortunately, that's just not our reality. And I'm being as conscious of the words that I use because of all the labeling that is happening on these social media platforms and the suppression. So I'm thinking extra hard about words that I would use to classify what's going on versus what I would normally use, just so that this video gets out and gets out to as many people as they allow. So, anyway, welcome to my channel. I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. And I am also the founder. Many of you who have been following this channel for a minute, I'm the founder of Black Travel and Culture on all social media platforms. And we cover everything related to wellness, travel, and finances from a cultural perspective. And right now, this week, I am committed to coming to you guys live at least 6 times during this week to bring to you the latest information and topics as it relates to what's going on post last week. And so, with that being said, today I wanted to get into the 10 things that Black women need to do starting now, like today, if you can, to make sure that, what do they say? Those who fail to plan to fail. And that is absolutely the truth going on right now. And so, what I want us to do is, as a community, to lean on each other, to educate each other, to support each other, because these are going to be some trying times. And I don't want to make it sound like it's all doom and gloom that's going to happen next week. But if anyone has been paying attention to the goals of this next term, yeah, melanated people are not going to be the golden children, let's just say. And so we need to plan accordingly. And we do know that history is known to repeat itself. And you know, we are at least in better position than our ancestors. We have opportunity to commune and, get in community with people and speak on these platforms and connect with each other and help each other. And to, news transfers or travels a lot faster than back in the days. So let's take advantage of that. Let's take advantage of that and, do the best we can to get ourselves together. So whatever comes, come what may, we are able to, sustain, and we will. I do think it's just going to get worse before it gets better, but we really need to, just have a plan of attack. So let's get into the 10 things that we should be doing right now to protect our safety, to protect our peace, and to plan for the future. And protecting our peace really is key in all of this. And we'll get into some steps to do that as well. So actually, let's just start there. One of the things we really need to do to start off doing is to limit all of the noise that we consume and intake. Limit the news. I know some people that get news alerts that, as soon as they come home, they're on these, corporate news channels like the CNBCs, the MSNBCs, even the Foxes. And, and that is poison. That is poisonous. And we know what happened last week. Do we really need to hear some of these fake journalists who are clearly taint it to one side, try to explain what happened. No, we don't. So that's going to be number one. I kind of went out of order, but number one, let's protect our peace by limiting the news, and not only protecting our peace by limiting the news, free up some time to get these other action items done and taken care of. Um, it, Again, I don't want it to sound like it's all doom and gloom, but I definitely wanted to put some urgency behind this call to action, because the longer you wait to start this call of action, the less choices that you will have. And if you saw my video yesterday about the 5 things Black women, um, oh, I forgot the exact title, but I'll link it here. But if you saw that video yesterday, our freedom is in our options. Our freedom is completely in our options, and we need to go ahead and take advantage of the freedoms that we are afforded today, which may not be the case tomorrow. So anyway, we talked about protecting our peace, right? So we're going to limit the news intake, to protect our mental peace, as well as to free up time to get these other action items done. The second thing I want us to really focus on is communing and having conversations with friends and families. I think a lot of people are, in some ways suffering in silence. They don't know who to ask. They're confused, like, what's next? What do we do? But instead of going into community or having conversations with friends and family, they are suffering in silence. Yeah, no, let's not do that. And the worst thing that could happen is if you try to have communications with friends and or family and they don't want to have it, or they start to invade on your peace. Stop. Limit it, walk away. But I think it's important. There may be some people who are feeling exactly like you, like, listen, you know something, I thought I was going to stay at this job for another 5 years, but I'm thinking, yeah, that might not be the case, because I don't want to be here, because I know the people I work with. I know how this is going to end. It's not going to end well. So have those conversations, because the person that you think may be like, oh, why are you thinking about moving away, or why are you thinking about moving abroad or getting a tiny house? And we'll get into these things in a minute, but they may be on the same page as you, and you start building community that way. You start getting your support that way. So we want to start having those conversations. It could be with your spouse, it could be with your children, it could be with your best friends, it could be with your parents, whoever, whatever. Start having those conversations with people who will be impacted and or affected by whatever choice you make or whatever decisions you make. So first, we're going to limit the noise. Second, we're going to talk to our closest friends and family and relatives to see what common goals we may all have, and that will help us get to the finish line quicker, right? This leads to finding your tribe. Number 3, we need to find our tribe. If it's not the friends and the families that you thought it would be, the people that you're speaking with, maybe they're on a completely different page, maybe they support a different side than you, then find your tribe of like-minded people who will help you get to your goals, or whatever it is that you're thinking you may want to do now that you know things may get more intense. So find your tribe based on your interest, right? So if you're looking to, maybe you don't want to like think about moving out the country, but you maybe want to downsize or move out of your community or move out of your town. Like some of us, I live in an urban city primarily, but I also have my Mexican residency, right? So I created an option for myself, because lo and behold, that picture that's on the thumbnail of that man in the face of that woman, that took place in New York City. And so this is just not a small town issue. This is just not a red state issue. This is happening across the country. And so maybe your goal is to move from one state to another. Maybe your goal is to downsize. Maybe your goal is to not leave the country, but maybe go to one of the territories of the US, like Hawaii or Puerto Rico, or someplace where, maybe it's not as intense as other places. So you want to find your tribe based on your interests. And these are people, the tribe is a group of people that will help you, right? That can, maybe they've already made the same move that you want to make. So let's stay on the path of tiny house, right? Say you want to downsize and, be more mobile, and you want to, live that tiny house dream. Well, there are tribes and communities out there of people that have already done all the heavy lifting, done all the work, and they're willing to share that information with you. And so it will make your job and your research process a lot easier. So don't go to blue cities. Crime is rising exponentially. Well, I mean, that's a blanket statement. I don't believe in one size fits all, right? So that's where the research comes in. Do I believe crime is going to rise across the country? Yeah, I do believe, as people can't afford things, right? So that's going to lead to crime, but I don't think it's limited to blue cities. I think it will happen across the board, and it's just finding the places that are safer for you. And so with that being said, I was talking about, meeting or convening with people who have already done the heavy lifting and the work that you are looking to do. And so one of the ways that you can do that is simply social media. You could type in, like, if you are a woman, single woman, tiny house, right? Living, or single mother, tiny house, or married couple with no kids, tiny house. Like, just go ahead and scour the internet, and you will find all different resources that can help you. And that's the same for people who want to move abroad, people who want to, maybe just move to another city or state. Maybe you're more urban and you want to move more rural, or you're more rural and you want to move to more urban. There's so many resources out there. And so definitely find your tribe. So we went through 3 things already. We talked about limiting the news and the noise. We talked about communicating with your closest friends and families to see who may have common interests and who don't, so you can eliminate them from the conversation, or, you may have to sway them. And then finding your tribe outside of your friends and family on these social media platforms. This right here is key and so important. And I'm going to do another video this week specifically about the changes that are happening with government right now and expecting to happen in the near future. If you don't have your passport, get it now. If you're able to get a passport, there is no reason you should not have a passport. And now is the time. Right now, we are on a decent wait time, a decent processing time for passports. That is expected to change really quickly with the changes in the administration. And so today is November 11th. That should be like a priority if you don't have your passport. Now, if you have your passport, check the expiration date. If it expires within a year, so if it expires on November 7th of 2025, now is the time to renew. You can renew your passport as long as it's within a year, because a lot of countries, your passport has to be valid for at least 6 months before you can enter their country. So it's just an extra 6 months that you would renew, but I highly recommend you doing that now, because the processing times are anticipated to grow exponentially. So if you can, go ahead and get the passport. If you don't have one, renew it if you're within a year's time frame, and try to plan to do that now. To renew, and I think to get your first time passport, I know to renew because I just renewed, it's $130. I forgot. I think it's about the same to get it for the first time. I haven't had, it's been a long time since I got my passport for the first time. So, but yeah, so go ahead and do that now. Next on the list, so what was that, number 4? Next on the list is if you have any other government ID, make sure it is current, up to date, and if it's not, get that renewed. So if you're coming up to the expiration of your driver's license, and this is specifically for my Black and brown people, my melanated people, whoever's listening to this, because I'm telling you, once they start rounding people up, if you don't have your paperwork, and even if you do, I mean, we're just stacking the odds in our favor, right? You want to make sure that you stack the odds in your favor. So get your driver's license or whatever government issued ID that is broadly accepted. Get that, check it out, check to make sure it's not about to expire, and get it renewed now if it needs to be renewed. So like my birthday's in May, my driver's license expires next year. I'm getting that renewed this week. And so next is making sure you have all of your legal documents. A lot of us may not have seen our Social Security card or our birth certificate for years and have no idea where these documents are. Go find them, make sure you have them, and make sure that they are readily accessible. I would also keep a digital copy in a safe form, whatever way you keep your digital files safe, or as safe as they can be. I would keep those, and especially if you have children. If you have children that tend to venture out on their own, go ahead and make sure that you have a copy of their birth certificate, their Social Security cards, easily accessible, and that they can access. And when I say children, I mean, like school-age children, high school, junior high school, because like I said, the roundups are going to happen. We just don't know when, and we just don't know who they're going to pick. And so many of us are right now focused on what's going to happen with the Latino community. Trust and believe, they are not the only undocumented people that this country is planning to go after. And so if you can mistakenly, and I won't even say, just be prepared, because no one's going to just assume that, oh, she's an American, he's not. Have your paperwork together. So your license, your passport, and your birth certificate should be accessible and readily available, right? And if you don't know how to get those, I know it's the vital statistics for your birth certificate, Department of in your city, Department of Vital Statistics for your birth certificate, and then I forgot the federal. Is it the Social Security Department for your Social Security card? So you could Google that and make sure you go ahead and get those documents ready and ready, to produce if necessary. Also, make sure that you have a copy of all of your assets, right? Take inventory of all of your assets. That includes any banks, any digital or online platforms that you store your money. If you have anything that right now you can only access digitally, make sure you download a copy. Make sure that you have all your accounts stashed offline, right? So if something happens, the hackers are hacking. The hackers are out here. Cybersecurity is more and more of a issue and situation now. And so you want to be able to, if something goes awry with whatever banking system you use, you have the paperwork to support whatever claim you're making, whatever argument you're making. So get you a nice good folder, old school style. I know a lot of us hate paper, right? Some of us don't even get paper statements from our banks or whatever brokerage houses we have. Go ahead and print these things out and keep it in a folder. And if you have a fireproof, what do you call it? A fireproof safe, store them in there, because we just never know when we may go off the grid or the hackers will affect you and your because truth be told, there was a phishing attempt on, not my accounts, on one of my sites today, and this is becoming more and more prevalent. So please get your assets. Don't rely on digital statements only or online statements only. Print everything out and keep a copy. And that includes anything related to insurance, anything related to your health. Keep a hard copy of everything. And you could get I just got a really thick binder from Staples, and it's going to have everything I'm talking about now, just ready to go. And so, okay. And also to help you out, there's two, yes, this is my little sales pitch to help you guys out. If you go to the description, you'll see two workbooks and one workbook and one resource guide that will help you organize everything. I talked about the From Here to There resource guide that lists over 100 links, clickable links, for those who are looking to move abroad, but don't have the time or resources or even want to do all the research that it takes to gather this information. Like I mentioned, I've been on this residency journey for a few years now. I've gathered a lot of information from different countries. All of that, well, not all of it, but 100 links you will find ready and available to go. The link is in the description. Also, there's a Plan Then Produce accountability workbook for anyone who needs to keep themselves accountable for all of this stuff. So, oh my gosh, I have to get my son's birth certificate. Oh, I have to get his social security card. Plus I have to get my passport renewed. There's a Plan Then Produce accountability workbook where you just literally make a promise to yourself, make a pledge to yourself that you're going to get certain things done. And all of this stuff can be done within 28 days. Simply put, can be done in 28 days or less. So it's a week by week accountability. So each week your goal is to accomplish and keep track of everything that you're accomplished. We know everything's not going to get done in a week. So the next week we're going to write down what still needs to be done, what else needs to be done, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable that way. So again, you can find all of that in the description box. A very inexpensive, under $10 for the Plan Then Produce accountability workbook right now. And then the From Here to There resource guide, I forgot, is it $12.97 now? So just over $10. Anyway, go ahead and get your copy. Also, so where are we? Oh, and then also hire an expert. If you need someone to help you stay consistent, to help you, whatever your dreams and goals are, to get your life in order, hire somebody. I'm not recommending anybody. I do accountability for Mexican residency. I will be talking about that later on this week. But if you need an expert to get your life together, go ahead. It's worth it. And I wouldn't say just hire anybody, hire somebody who comes highly recommended. I am going to put together a list of people that I'll talk about later this week that I've heard are really good life coaches, so to speak. But again, that's just something else we need to take serious. And for some people, it's just like when you pay to take a class versus a free class. Oh, if you pay to take a class, you're probably going to do better in it because you don't want to waste your money, right? So that's kind of how I look at it with the experts and hiring somebody. Hiring somebody to help you get your affairs in order, your life in order, and to keep you on track. So yeah, so let me see. Did I go over the 10? So the first one was, oh, I have another one. So keeping, the noise out, right? Keeping the noise away and stop watching the news and free up time, right? And then second was communicate with the closest ones to you to see where there's common goals, or if you guys are just so far apart that you may have to not communicate with them anymore, then go ahead and let them go. And then that leads us to finding our tribe, right? We're going to find our tribe. That's number 3. We can do that through a whole bunch of social media resources and using, Google or whatever search engine you use to just do general broad term searches to find your tribe. You're going to get your passport if you don't have one, and renew it if you need to. If it's less than a year, then you're going to go ahead and renew it now. Like I said, later on this week, I'm going to talk about the changes that are happening with that are expected to happen imminently, like at the top of the year with the Department of State and some other things that will affect processing times. And we don't know how it's going to affect. So will it go from you being able to renew your passport in 4 to 6 weeks to 6 to 8 months? We don't know. So let's not get caught off guard, right? So renewing your passport and getting your passport should be priority. All other official ID and documentation should also be gathered. So is that number 5? So getting your driver's license or renewing your driver's license or your non-driver's license. If you don't drive, just making sure you have official state ID with whatever state you live in, to, confirm your identity. Also, making sure you have a hard copy of your social security card as well as your birth certificate. Like I said, for many of us over 40, over 50, over 60, when was the last time we really had to use that, right? Maybe for our passports or whatever, but we need to make sure those are readily available and also digitized. So wherever, if we can just pull it up on our phones, if we can pull it up, on our computers. However, we want to make sure we have those ready to go, because like I said, when they start snatching people, I know many people that are African American, but they look Latina, and vice versa. So are they really going to ask a whole bunch of questions? You want to be able to prove you are who you say you are. We're also going to take inventory of all of our assets, every single dollar, I don't care if it's only $100 in an account. You want to take inventory of all your assets as well as all of your loved ones' assets. So if it's make sure your parents have it, make sure your children, you have access to your children's accounts, in a hard copy offline form. Right? Because like I said, this is more about the hackers. Who is going to control the hackers? Now, we know who our leadership is in bed with, right? We know who has been attributed to a lot of the cybersecurity issues that are going on now. Protect yourself. Don't be caught at the wheel sleeping, right? So make sure you protect yourself, your assets, and the ones that of your loved ones. Get a copy of the From Here to There resource guide. All the links are in the description. It gives more of a description of what that guide is about. Again, it's 100 plus clickable links for you to start your Move Abroad journey. Get a copy of the Plan Then Produce accountability workbook so you could start jotting down. It's downloadable. You print it out and you just start keeping track and writing down commitments to yourself of things you're going to do and accomplish. Hire an expert if necessary. If that moves you, I'm not saying you definitely have to do it, but I do recommend, listen, there's times when you just have to pay people to get things done, and there are experts out there that know how to do that. They can make the phone calls for you. They can, if you trust them with some of your sensitive information, it just makes sense. And then take care of your prioritize. We talked about the news, right? But prioritize your mental health, please, 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 please. Like I mentioned yesterday, I know for me, wintertime in the Northeast is not a pleasant time. The cold weather, the getting dark at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, the winter blues are real, which is why I started boycotting winter in warm, sunny places, right? And whatever it takes to protect, if you know there's something that is messing with your mind, right? So if it's the news, we already talked about that, eliminate it, right? If it's friends and family, case in point, good friend that I've had since the 90s. He is someone that I know if I needed something, I could probably call him, not even feel judged about it, and he would do his best to deliver. Well, he is on the other side of the aisle, and staunchly on the other side of the aisle. He moved from Harlem to Atlanta, and his whole outlook on life has changed. And he is now, we are at odds as to, what's right, what's wrong, and the side that he's on. I've had to remove him from all of my social media platforms because when I tell you he was a heavy promoter, he was part of the barbershop conversation that happened in Atlanta a few months ago. And I'll just leave it at that. So for my peace of mind, I had to just release. Now, do I, you know, do I still have love for him? Absolutely. But I just cannot be connected to him. I just cannot see what I think is, listen, I'm going to just leave it there. So whatever it takes to protect your peace, go ahead and do it. I highly recommend checking out the Luther Vandross documentary. When I tell you that totally made in the past week has totally changed my life. I forgot what a amazing talent this man was. The documentary was phenomenal in and of itself. But then I got reintroduced to his music and learned how many other people that he wrote for and the music that I had no idea that he was responsible for composing and singing background on and this and that. So for the past week, I have been literally, well, 2 weeks, well, Friday will be 2 weeks. So yeah, not quite 2 weeks. I have been enthralled in Luther Vandross. So if it's going to the movies, I also love nature. So if you could find you a botanical gardens or a museum that can bring you some type of peace and joy, go ahead and do that. Go for, if you during lunch, instead of just sitting in a cafeteria at your desk, find a quiet space or a loud space, whatever brings you joy. Go ahead and take advantage of those opportunities because there's going to be I think depression and anxiety is going to catapult. It's going to go through the roof. And so, and seek a therapist if necessary, period. And I think that was number 10. That was all wrapped in together, but seek a therapist if necessary. If I haven't asked you already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because like I said, the rest of this week, I am coming back. I am committed. This week was supposed to really be about health and wellness. I had a video that was ready to go about health and wellness coming up on, cold and flu season and some natural remedies. I even had my castor oil ready to talk about. But I have pivoted because I think this is more critical and more urgent. But next week, I will come back with the health conversations. But this week, there will be live conversations at least. So this is the second one, at least 4 more times. I'm going to try to do every day this week. There's one day I may not be able to, but we'll see. So yeah, and if I can't do it, maybe I'll just, do an edited video. So I'll be on 7 days this week. 6 of those will be live. 1 may be recorded. So please be sure to ask any questions that you have. Again, I literally want us to come out good on the other side of this. And the only way that we can do that is if we prepare, right? If we plan and prepare. And like I said, I am going to share that video probably in a short of the way that this man thought it was okay to, and look at the thumbnail, to be up in, the sister didn't back down though. So listen, it is what it is, but we shouldn't even have to do that. And there were too many men around for him to still be standing, right? For him to still be standing after approaching her like that. And so I was going to play it here, but I don't know if there's any copyright issues or anything like that. And like I said, I want this video to go out hopefully to as many people. So go ahead, like any questions you have, go ahead and ask them. I'm ready for the trolls, because I'm sure the trolls will be coming with their little, comments. We are a nation divided, and I'm ready for whatever. I'm a New Yorker child. So not saying things don't bother me, but I have thicker skin than a lot of people. And so it is what it is. But those who support this channel, go ahead and share this video to help us get it on the right track. And check out yesterday's video where I share, that's what it is, 5 resources that every Black woman needs to have right now. I share YouTube channels that everyone needs to check out. And finally, this was the last thought. See, if I keep talking long enough, I'll remember. Please go to, and I'm going to pull her channel up again. I watched her video last night, and the name of the channel is Our Black Utopia. And yesterday she did a master class. When I tell you a master class, and I keep saying she, it's a husband and wife, but I'm pulling it up now. Give me a second. I want to get the screen. Okay, perfect. She did a master class on what we can expect now. And when I tell you she's brilliant. She is just absolutely, she's a brilliant political mind. She's worked in the political field, and she has she has her Mexican residency. We were getting our residency at the same time. I think she got hers from Puerto Vallarta. I got mine in Guadalajara. But that's when I first became really connected to her, because we were, she was part of my tribe. She was who I was, seeking advice and information online from. But let me go ahead and show you. Oh, here we go. Share. Hopefully you can see that. No, I got to bring you up. There you go. So this is her channel, or this is their channel. Got to get used to saying that. You'll see she does the majority of the talking, but is by Black Utopia. They have nearly 50,000 subscribers. And just to tell you what their channel is about, we love to travel, but our lifestyle and spending habits didn't reflect that. If you are anything like us, you are living your life, helping your kids through college and other endeavors, taking a vacation here and there, and striving. Then one day you wake up and realize 50 is staring you in the face, and your savings and retirement account look piddly. We changed the way we handle our finances, and within 3 years, our net worth went from minus 22,000 to 800K, and we retired. We now live in Lisbon, Portugal, and are living a version of our dream life that was too big for us to imagine. Special thanks to the family members and content creators that helped us make it happen. See our channels that changed our lives section. Okay. The channels, I guess, that saved our lives. But this is the video right here that please prepare now. And you can read, I'm not saying no names because I don't want this. Anyway, would look like for Black folks. And when I tell you the breakdown, yeah, that is, you will get a PhD in what our history has taught us this will look like. So when you get a chance, definitely check it out. Again, the channel is Our Black Utopia, and the video was posted 22 hours ago. So on Sunday, this was posted. So when you get a chance, check it out. And hopefully, yeah, I don't see any questions. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I see quite a few, came, and I appreciate that. And like I said, if you can, just go ahead and share this video if you think, it can help someone, or even it could be a starter conversation, right? Maybe you don't want to approach somebody about, oh, what do we do now? What's going on? I'm feeling a little uneasy. Send them this video and be like, what did you think about that? Did you ever think about this? Did you, just have the conversation. Okay. And so anyway, thank you once again for tuning in. I am your girl, Kim, AKA Kim with the Gems, founder of Black Travel and Culture across all social media platforms. Well, not all, but most. And yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I will post what the topic will be about later on this evening. I'm supposed to go to a concert to see one of my favorite jazz artists. So if it's not this evening, it will be first thing this tomorrow morning. Matter of fact, I'll schedule it after I leave this. So I'll post it as soon as we finish this video or this live stream. So thank you again for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.